Hi everybody, welcome to another video preview. This time looking ahead to Saturday's card. We've got the Tolworth Hurdle from Sandown, as well as the ever popular Veterans Handicap Chase, which seems to have attracted a bumper field and looks a tricky puzzle to solve as ever. So 3 selections from that Sandown card. We'll start in the 150, the 2-mile Handicap Chase, and I think it's worth taking another chance with Moonlighter, who ran a really encouraging race in the Holden Gold Cup on his seasonal reappearance. He was just touched off by a neck to Grenadine, who since ran so well in the Tingle Creek. And he was in a really well-backed 7-4 shot at Newbury last time out. He came to grief in the early parts of that race, but I think he's definitely worth another chance. He's never looked like doing anything wrong over fences prior to that. His jumping's always stood the test, so I think that's just an anomaly on his record. And that Holden Gold Cup form just looks the strongest piece of form on offer here, and he just looks a horse still on the up. And although that effort was on good ground, he is a winner on heavy as well. So if conditions do worsen on the chase course to heavy ground, that won't be a problem at all. He looks to have some pretty interesting opposition. Iblio's done nothing wrong this season, second in strong handicaps at Cheltenham and Ascot. And Gary Moore can always be respected in these events. He runs both Early Delumo and Darabin, who were first and second in a similar event to this here earlier in the season. You'd fancy Early Delumo to reverse those placings, given that effort was his first run for nearly 2 years. However, he did fall at Ascot last time out. It was quite a heavy fall as well, so he needs to bounce back from that. So I think Moonlighter will be the one to take a chance on in that 150. And then moving on to the 3 o'clock, which is the Veterans Chase. A bumper field, it's really competitive, as you'd expect. Some old favourites. We've got the likes of Regal Flow and Theatre Guide, who always seem to run well in this. They're both 14 now, as well as the 13-year-old See You at Midnight. I think it's worth focusing on the younger brigade, the 11-year-olds. And the one I've landed on at a big price is Finger on the Switch, who looks to have been trained for this race. Now, if the ground does go heavy, that would be a concern. Excuse me, but he does have form on soft ground, and he's only ran once this season, when fourth in a qualifier for this at Haydock, when shaping as if he needed the run. And he was in the form of his life last season. He won a Kempton Handicap by 10 lengths. He was then narrowly touched off in the Skybet Chase at Doncaster before pulling up in the Kim Muir, which he found too competitive at the festival. He has Millie Wunnicott on board, taking off a valuable 7, which is definitely going to be handy given the conditions. And the tongue tie is also reapplied. Now, when he went and wore a tongue tie the first time, when it was applied, he actually went and won. So that's applied to the customary cheek pieces once more. So I think that's interesting. The yards can definitely ready them for a target. And when you consider some firms will be going 5 or 6 places, a general 16-1 chance at the moment, he definitely looks an each way bet against some relatively exposed veterans. So he was the one that I landed on in the Veterans Chase. Cross Park is a likely favourite. He's done absolutely nothing wrong this season at all. He's been second 3 times, including winning the London National last time. He should be bang on the scene, but at twice the price, I just thought Finger on the Switch was definitely worth taking a chance on. And then finally, the 3:35, a 2-mile Handicap Hurdle. Now, this is definitely going to be attritional conditions, heavy ground on the hurdles course. And a horse that should love those conditions is Monsieur Lecoq, trained by Jane Williams, who had some really good form in graded handicaps last season. He won the Welsh Champion Hurdle. He was narrowly touched off when 3rd in the Greatwood, and then he was 2nd in that big handicap Ascot just before Christmas last season, behind Not So Sleepy, who won that race again this season. And he made an encouraging start this season when he was 4th over fences. Chasing plans have quickly been shelved. He was below form over in France last time, but I think that run can be forgiven. And 2 miles on heavy ground around Sandown's definitely going to be ideal. He's been 2nd in an Imperial Cup here as well, and he's now £5 lower from that Ascot effort last season. So he's definitely well handicapped. And although he has to give weight to some unexposed and improving rivals, the likes of Friend or Foe and Guard Your Dreams and Highway 102, who was a graded winner as a novice last season, hasn't completed over fences but drops back to hurdling. They should have chances, but I just think he has the class edge. Chester Williams takes off 5, which is always a bonus in the ground as well. So he'd be the final selection in that 2 mile handicap. Whatever your selections, best of luck in what looks a competitive day's racing, but hopefully 1 or 2 winners along the way.